Hello, everyone. My name is Christine, and I'm the host here at the Hungarian Heritage Podcast, the show where we connect your modern life to your Hungarian heritage by building bridges and connecting the circles of Hungarians around us. This podcast is a place where everyone is welcome, where you don't even need to be Hungarian or speak Hungarian to join in on the fun. Each week, we will talk about all the things that we love about Hungary and Hungarian people. So, if you're looking to make that first connection to your Hungarian heritage, or if you're looking to dive deeper, then this is the place to be. Thanks for joining us today. On this episode of the Hungarian Heritage Podcast, we are going to talk about the romantic and sometimes hectic topic of weddings and wedding planning. I'm speaking with Anna and Marton, a recently married couple, and we discuss their experience with what it's like to plan a wedding in Hungary. In this modern world we live in with access to the internet, couples around the world have similar ideas about what they want their wedding to look like. Therefore, sometimes cultural traditions get put on the back burner in exchange for the typical weddings you see on TV or in movies. As you listen to Anna and Marton's wedding story, you will see how their modern wedding in Hungary also included some of the traditional aspects of a Hungarian wedding. And please remember that Anna and Marton's beautiful wedding experience is just one example, and it's not limited to how Hungarians include traditional elements in their weddings. So let's find out what Anna and Marton's Hungarian wedding was like and who is the boss of their family. I would like to welcome Anna and Marton to the Hungarian Heritage Podcast, as our topic of discussion will be about Hungarian wedding traditions. We will discuss both modern and old traditions in Hungary, and who better to help me with this topic than Anna and Marton, a Hungarian couple who recently got married. Congratulations, Anna and Marton. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for both the congratulations and for having us today.
Of course. So every culture has traditional elements in their marriage ceremony, and some of them carry on over the years. And sometimes couples want more modern traditions in their wedding. Even in the United States, there's definitely traditions. My daughter just got married 2 years ago, and some of the traditions that happen during the ceremony are, very traditional. And then some things are new, like they get rid of some of the old traditions because they don't want them in the marriage ceremony or in the party afterwards. So it's common, how things change over the years. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about your wedding planning and your celebration and what things look like over in Hungary now with couples your age. I've been married almost 30 years. So you guys are freshly married. And so you know all of the information about what young couples like and what they don't like compared to what used to happen with Hungarian marriages. So you two got engaged. What is an engagement like in Hungary for young couples? How did you propose, Marton?
Well, basically, it was a planned event, so to say.
Okay.
We went to a couple painting event. We painted a really amazing picture. After that, we went out at the night to the park in Budapest. It was near Hősök tere. It's a really nice park. And there are a really little romantic lake there. And I proposed then.
Behind the castle?
Behind the castle, yeah.
You must have felt like a princess that day since it was behind the castle.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded very romantic. In Hungary, how long does an engagement last? Because in the United States, it could be quick. It could be 2 years, depending on how long, people want to plan their wedding. What was it like for you?
It depends for us. I mean, it's the same. Someone got it for a shorter time. Mm-hmm. We were engaged for 2 years because there was COVID and we couldn't hold our wedding.
Yeah, so, that definitely was a roadblock.
Yeah, and the other stuff was that there is a really long waiting list on the places.
Oh.
So you have to at least wait almost a year if you want everything organized and not rushed.
Yeah, that's pretty standard even here in the United States. You can't plan a wedding at a location and expect to get married 3 months later. You definitely have to plan it further on the calendar.
But the whole planning was Anna's job, basically.
Of course.
She really liked it.
I hate it.
If we would have waited about 2 more weeks, we would probably go insane and just decline the offer.
I think that's very typical. I think the closer you get to the wedding, the more stressed you feel because you want all of the details to fall into place. And I saw some of the pictures that Anna sent me and everything looked beautiful. So I imagine all of your planning, Anna, went very well. I'm sure that, now that you look back at the pictures, you have such great memories that you created there. Let's talk about your wedding plans. How long did it take you to find your dress?
I find it at my first place where I go. And maybe it was the second dress that I tried.
I guess when you know, right? When you find the right one. So did you bring your family with you, moms, grandmas, friends?
My mom came with me and one of my friends.
That's nice. So it's very typical, very similar to in the United States. Tell us about your ceremony, because we're here to talk about Hungarian traditions. And do you feel that you try to include any traditions in your wedding that are older traditions?
It's rice tossing or salt. It's usually take place at a church wedding, but we didn't have one because we are not religious.
Okay.
We missed out that thankfully, because it's horrible to get the rice and the salt out of your eyes and ears and clothes.
I bet. I never heard of salt. I've heard of rice. Do you know what the salt is supposed to symbolize?
It's the same thing. It's for prosperity.
Okay.
And,
I didn't hear about the salt too, so.
I had a friend who went through that and said it was horrible.
I bet. I can't imagine getting salt in my eyes on the day of my wedding. That would be uncomfortable. Did you include any Hungarian food or folk songs for maybe the older generation in your family?
There was a few things, there was a gypsy dance. It's basically when the people dressed as basically gypsies, and it's a dance around kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It was a surprise for my mother-in-law.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, we would have liked to know the surprises beforehand, but
my sister loved this gypsy dance too, so I know that will be fun.
Yeah. So to say, we are not really a traditional family, so we don't really hold our traditions as dear as we should.
Well, I think as time goes on, people choose to keep some traditions and not keep some traditions. And sometimes those traditions, as in your wedding, was a surprise. Right? But I'm sure it made, the older generation of your guests feel happy to have that connection to the past, even though it was a surprise for you.
Yeah, we not really know the part of the wedding, which one next to which one, and something like this. So I asked my mom and my sister how I have to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah. That's good. Well, at least you're looking back at it and you're smiling. So it must have been, even though it was a surprise, it must have been fun. I know some people try to include a little bit of the kalocha, the embroidery. Did you do that anywhere in your wedding? Not on your dress. I know you had a very modern wedding dress, which was beautiful.
Yeah. We didn't include those because we are not far from that region. So it's not in our traditions. But otherwise, there was the red clothes dancing. I don't know how we call it in English.
That's a big thing. I know I sent you a picture of a famous Olympic swimmer, Katinka Hoju. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. She just got married, and I saw on social media she changed into the red dress. So that must still be pretty popular then.
It's got even more popular now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's a fun thing. You learn something to dance, and it's your first dance together. As the next day that
we learned
husband and wife.
Yeah, we learned our dance half year.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So you practiced this dance?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
we danced Spanish dance with girls to
Okay.
get the ropes, and after that our friend helped us because he's a dance teacher, professional dance teacher.
That's great. So for the listeners, changing into a red dress, did it happen at midnight for you?
Yes.
Okay. So you change into a red dress at midnight, and it's supposed to symbolize a new dress that symbolizes the new wife dress, that you're leaving your old life into your new life as a wife or partner, right? Because we're modern now, right? So that's amazing that tradition is still so popular. So tell us about your dress, Anna. What did your red dress look like?
It was a simple red dress. It's nothing special.
Well,
it was a really nice dress.
Well, Martin said it was beautiful, so I'm sure you looked amazing in it. Yeah, so that's pretty cool that you guys still keep that tradition, because I feel like you can be modern, right? In things that you do. It's 2022, whether you live in Hungary, the United States, wherever, in the world, you can still be modern, but also include some tradition in your weddings.
In the wedding, we have the ceremony, and after that, we had
dinner. We had dinner.
Okay.
And it was the traditional food, I think.
No, it was traditional. We eat soup made of chicken.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty traditional.
It's
mean as meat soup.
Okay, delicious.
And after that, we eat what people eat on every wedding. We
cheese, mushrooms, rice, potato.
Just a typical.
So you had a typical food at the party, but you had a little bit of the traditional Hungarian food as your soup.
At midnight, we had stuffed cabbages and steamed cabbages.
You can't get any more traditional than that. Right? You cannot get any more traditional than having stuffed cabbage.
It was fine because I don't like the cabbage.
I don't really like either, but we kept the tradition.
Well, that's lovely.
Yes, loved it. So.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely made your guests happy by having some traditional food at midnight. So are there any other traditions in Hungarian weddings that maybe you didn't do, but maybe that are still done in weddings?
After the dinner, we had our open dance.
Yeah, it's still in the white dress. It's opening dance, type of dance.
Okay, so after dinner, you did a traditional first waltz type of dance?
Yes. Yeah, it was really, really beautiful. Anna was beautiful.
Aww.
The guys loved it. I didn't trip, so.
We have to dance it twice because they love it.
Yeah, they cheered us back on, so we had to dance after.
Well, you did such a beautiful job in your waltz. They wanted a second time, which was great. That's so lovely.
I was happy. Yeah, we did it. I haven't got to do it again.
Yeah, because like I said, it was a long time ago, almost 30 years. But when you're out there and everybody's staring at you, it feels like forever, doesn't it? It's like, oh my goodness.
It was the exact opposite of me. It was like, it's already over.
Oh, that's so sweet. So doing a traditional waltz dance is something that Hungarian couples do. Any other traditions that you see at weddings? Because you guys are at the age now where you're probably going to a lot of weddings for your friends and family members.
There is the bride stalling, but thankfully we missed that out because the whole male guests were drunk, so they couldn't stall Anna.
Yeah.
And it helpfully because I was a little bit drunk, so to say, and I wouldn't be able to get her back.
So basically they steal the bride during not during the ceremony, like after the ceremony, during the party. So even though all of your groomsmen had a little too much to drink, and it didn't happen, what usually happens during the bride stealing in the reception?
You have to do something to get either the bride or the bride's shoes back.
Yeah, there is a funny exercising.
Yeah. My friend had to do karaoke with a song that he never heard before. And after that, he had to dance with his brother for it.
So it's basically like a bribe. You have to do something to get your wife back.
Yeah, it's a little bit of fun of challenge, so to say.
Yeah, sure. Well, those sound like fun traditions. They're definitely not traditions that are painful. So,
I saw weddings that it went to the painful event because the groom fall or something like that.
Oh goodness, yeah.
Yeah. It
can be painful. It can be painful, I imagine, especially if someone's had a little bit too much to drink.
Yeah.
Well, you guys were lucky. You didn't have to worry about that. So you didn't have to do any crazy tasks, Martin, to get Anna back. Are there any other traditions that you'd like to share or that you know of that people do during weddings?
We have to cut a cake.
Yeah, we cut the cake, and the partner whose hands on top of the knife is going to be the boss of the marriage.
So Anna, please tell me your hand was on top and you're the boss of the marriage.
Yes.
Good job.
Actually, Martin was so drunk, so he can't cut the cake. So I did it alone.
I was just
Well, you're the true boss, Anna. But I'm sure Martin doesn't mind that you're the boss because you seem like a sweet boss. Very sweet. Any other traditions?
After that, we collect money.
Yeah, we sell the bride. So I don't know, is it a thing in America? It's basically you have to pay to dance with the bride.
I've seen that before, where you have to pay to dance with the bride, and that's how you collect the gifts from the guests.
Yes.
So that's lovely. And I think that also gives you the chance to actually speak with all the guests, because usually there's so many people.
No, I think I haven't got enough time to speak with everyone because it's too fast, and I have to dance like a half hour in the same time. So
yeah, it was really tiring for Anna because basically she was constantly dancing.
Well, at least you got to see all of the guests, which was good, even if you didn't get a chance to talk to them while you were dancing.
We had a relatively small wedding. We were under 100 people.
Okay.
88.
Yeah, so it's considered a small wedding.
Well, that's lovely. Honeymoons. Is that a popular thing in Hungary?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us, did you go on a honeymoon right away? I know you said you just came back.
We waited because it's a lot cheaper at the end of the summer.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And we are, relatively young couple, so we don't have that much money. So we waited out the season. But otherwise, it's tradition to go right after the wedding. But it's not. Most of the guys don't hold it now because.
For example, my brother go to honeymoon before the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's like eating dessert before the meal, but it worked out, so that's all that counts. But it is smart to wait during the seasons because I know. Definitely parts of Europe are very busy with travelers that go there and visit. So that was smart. So where did you go on your honeymoon?
We went to Egypt, to Hurghada. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was still packed. So I can't even imagine how packed it is during the most visited times.
Yeah. Wow. That's an amazing honeymoon to go to Egypt. So did you do all of the typical things that people see when in Egypt, like the pyramids and the Sphinx?
No, unfortunately, it take an 8-hour bus ride just there. And, and there was some constructions that are going right now. So they advised that if you want to see them, came back next time. So we took them, and we have now another reason to go back.
There you go. There you go. And it's definitely closer for you guys than it is over in the United States to get there. So it's how long was the plane ride?
It was 4 hours. I think.
4.
Wow. That's pretty short.
That's fast.
Yeah, that is fast because I live in New Jersey and just to get to California, it's almost a 6-hour flight.
Yeah.
Across the country. So
amazing how much you have to travel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a big country. It's obvious that young women like yourself, Anna, in 2022 want to have weddings that look like we see on TV and in the movies, right? Because, it's modern everywhere. And there are some traditions in the United States that even though all these young women are having modern weddings, they have like tiny little things that they still do. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. You're going to have modern things and you're going to have traditional things all at the same time. But I'm happy to hear that you did changing into the red dress, which is really cool. So is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about your special day?
Well, first of all, I would say that our dog was the ring bearer.
Yeah. Oh.
She came and brought the rings to us.
She did a good job?
She did a really good job, yeah.
She's a great dog.
Yeah, we got a lot of funny pictures.
What kind of dog do you have?
She's a Border Collie and a Stafford mix.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, now you have all those pictures that you'll have forever of your dog. Yeah.
We made
sand.
Basically, we have 2 different color of sand, and it basically symbolizes that if you put 2 kind of sands together, you can separate them.
That's a very pretty tradition.
Yeah, the more traditional way of this is with wine and sparkling water.
Okay.
It's called a crutch. It's a really nice drink. And it's the same thing. It symbolizes that you cannot undo this bond.
That's true. I think it would be very difficult to separate the 2 different colors of sand from each other. Right? You're together forever, similar to the wine and sparkling water. You would never be able to separate that.
Otherwise, we greeted our in-laws, so to say. It's a parent welcoming event. When you give your parent a little gift. Our mothers got flowers, and our fathers got a hammer that helped us build our foundations, so to say.
Oh, that's so lovely. A hammer, and then they'll have that hammer forever now too.
It's a ceremonial hammer.
Oh, okay. So you can't build any houses with it, I guess, right? That's really great. That's great. So flowers for the moms and a ceremonial hammer for the dads.
And after these things, we congratulate the guests congratulated us. So we were just standing there and everyone came forward and said a few words to us.
Yeah, it was long.
It was a really long time because everyone wanted to speak with us a little. So. Another tradition that we kept, it's called grillás. It's a cake made out of basically pure sugar and walnut, and basically it's shaped to some shape. Ours was a slipper.
Aw. So is it like a marzipan? Is that what it is?
No, not really. But basically, it's a shaped sugary thing.
Melted sugar.
It's melted sugar basically.
Yeah, you melted the sugar and put there some
walnut.
And you let it
cool, and it gets hard. Yeah,
it's so good, guys.
It sounds delicious. Sugar and walnuts. How could you go wrong?
Yeah, it's great.
Was like, drawing everyone who wanted to get.
So that's good. So you were able to share it with all the wedding guests too, right?
You have to break it apart.
Okay.
Everyone is eating from it. Your wedding will be great, and everything is good.
Igen.
Oh,
So they got a plate in my hands that I should break the thing with that, and they was like, it's probably not a good idea, and I was right because I smashed not just the cake but the plate as well.
Did you use the hammer that you gave to the dads to smash it?
After that, I used my hand.
So now that's a tradition that many couples do at their wedding?
As far as I was on the weddings, everyone had it. So
it must be a tradition.
Tradition.
What is it like to get a marriage license? Is it difficult in Hungary? What's the process of filling out the forms? Is it a big process or relatively easy?
It's a relatively easy process to do. Basically, it was 2 hours to get the thing. We went into a major office village where we held our wedding, and there was the official lady who basically
the official lady. I think everybody knows an official lady. Right? Was she nice?
Yeah, she was really nice.
Oh, that's good.
She held our ceremony. Justice Peace Registrar.
Oh, okay. So it's called the Justice of the Peace Registrar, and they fill out your marriage license.
Yeah.
And she was a very nice office lady, because sometimes when you go into these offices, they're not always so nice, right? Sometimes they're cranky.
Well, she was lovely.
That's good.
Everything. We had to choose how we want to name our children as for a family name. Already.
Really? Oh, well, you had to do that during your marriage license process. Tell me about that. You had to choose your children's family name. Tell me about that.
Yes. Because there was the question that Anna would like to take my name or not.
Okay.
And because of that, you have to choose the name of your kids too.
So did you take Martin's name?
I have, yes.
Yeah.
My name is Gal Verda Anna now.
Okay.
And I was Verda Anna.
She kept her family name and just put mine in front of hers.
Okay. That's common. That's common. People either take a family name or put them together and use both. So I could see why they would want to know for your future children what name would be that they'd be using. Okay. That's not a process in the United States that you have to do when you see the office lady to get your marriage license at all. That usually happens in the hospital when you have the baby and you fill out the birth certificate and you put the baby's name there. That's where the legal document that it happens. So it's interesting that it's different in Hungary, that you have to do it at the wedding. That's a topic I didn't even think we'd be talking about today. That's very interesting.
I think with this, you tell the name that time, and it's automatically in the hospital when the children.
Yeah,
that's very.
You
efficient.
just have to give the surname, and they just put together things.
Yeah,
very efficient. I'm curious now because I actually have my grandparents' document, their marriage document, when they visited the office lady back in 1946. I don't know if that was a question back then because that's a long time ago. And I feel like ladies automatically took their husband's last name. So I'm going to take a look and see if it asks that question. Because that would be interesting to see if it did do that in 1946. And if it didn't,
I don't think so.
When did it change? Like, what year did that law change? Because that's a very interesting topic. I would be interested to research that to find out.
As a lawyer.
Yeah, I don't, my husband and my daughter are both lawyers, but not Hungarian lawyers. So I'll have to find someone to ask.
Your new name in Hungary. You can put your husband's old name and you got a name.
Yeah, it's basically that wife of one.
On the end, or just first name and you got a name.
Yeah.
Or just the first name. or that's what I do.
Yeah, the mixed
both.
Yeah.
person, yeah.
I don't want to repeat myself, but since Anna's the boss, she had to keep her name. So that's good. So what did you choose for your future children?
Just my
Yeah.
family name. Because it's, a relatively short name, so they don't have to write that much.
That's good. So you can give them long first names, which is nice, right? Like Veronica or Elizabeth, something long, something big.
We already think about that. Our son's going to be Oliver, and if we are going to have a daughter, it's going to be Nora.
So Gal Nora.
Yeah, it's short.
I love those names. Well, I'm interested to follow along to see how it goes. It's exciting. Are there any other things that I didn't know as far as traditions of preparing to be married, like laws or anything?
I don't think so. I mean, we have to sign a form that we are not married already.
That helps, right?
Yes, that helps.
That helps. That wouldn't make the office lady very happy if that's more paperwork for sure. That's so great. That's so great.
I don't think so. There was any other thing that.
Nowadays, I got new papers and I have to.
Yeah, Anna had to change every personal
document,
cards, informations that she had.
That's a lot of paperwork, I imagine, to change all of your.
No, it's all automatically happens. So
yeah, we do
the paperwork at the office, and after the wedding, I think it was one week, and I got everything.
Paper.
That's extremely efficient. That's not so efficient in the United States. A lot more steps. It's not just a one office that you have to go to. It's many different places. They're all separate.
We didn't have to do that.
So that's good. That's great. Did you feel like your parents or maybe any of your grandparents or older generation, did they say, oh, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Maybe trying to pressure you into doing some of the old-fashioned things that they're familiar with.
Yeah, and Anna's mother, she was a little bit hard-headed about a lot of things.
Okay.
But otherwise, unfortunately, our grandparents are not alive. I have my grandmother, but she's not very. She had to miss out, and otherwise we don't have any living grandparents.
Okay, not everyone does. So every family looks different.
I don't really met my grandparents. Yeah, they didn't live when I born.
I mean, I wish they were there.
Well, I'm sure they were looking down.
But as traditions goes, Anna's mother was the one who knows the traditions. Sister.
So she was definitely trying to get you to do more of the traditions, right? I guess they got a few of them in there without you knowing, especially the surprise gypsy dancing, right?
Yeah.
But that'll be a good story to tell your kids. Can you believe, grandma did this at our wedding and they surprised us. So it'll be a good story and a good memory when you're older. It might be annoying now, but later on, you'll appreciate it.
No, everything was great, and it's not perfect.
There was a few things, but otherwise.
Yeah, but it was great.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. The guests enjoyed it. So
that's the most important thing. And you know what? It was just important for you to enjoy yourselves because you can plan everything every minute of the day, and not everything is going to be perfect, but you just look back and then remember all the good parts, not all the awkward parts, because you shouldn't keep that in your brain at all. Just remember all the happy moments. And from what I've heard, you have a lot of happy moments that happened that day, which is great. So is there anything else you'd like to share about the wedding process in Hungary for young couples?
Well, it's basically the easiest thing that get a wedding organizer, say, because Anna was a hero and she organized everything. But I think young couples don't really want to bother with it. Yeah. So they just get a professional.
Well, Anna is the boss of the family. So, right? So clearly she has the skills to do that. Well, I'm so happy that you were able to celebrate your wedding and now you're coming back from your honeymoon and jumping into real life now every day as a married couple.
I wish we had a little bit more time at the honeymoon, because coming back to working and university again, it's awful.
Well, you know what? You just have to plan something to look forward to. And then you'll at least have that in your head. So when you're working and you're at university, you won't be so stressed out because you know that you have something to look forward to, even if it's just a weekend somewhere. So you say that you're not like traditional, not that you're saying you're not traditional, because things were modern dress, modern, aspects of your wedding, but you did include traditional things too, even though you don't feel like you're old fashioned, because you're not old fashioned, right? But certain things are traditional in weddings, which is pretty interesting. This was very exciting to chit chat and talk about your wedding and modern weddings and the traditional aspects. And I really appreciate that you guys took the time out to talk to me today about your modern with a few traditional aspects. Some were surprised, some were not surprised, but that's amazing. And it sounds like you had a beautiful wedding.
Thank you. And you are welcome too.
Oh, thanks for being here today. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining me today on this episode of the Hungarian Heritage Podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to Anna and Marton's wedding story and how they included Hungarian wedding traditions into their modern wedding day. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, their experience is just one example and is not limited to how Hungarians include traditional elements in their weddings. The show notes for this episode provides additional information if you're interested in more Hungarian wedding traditions, including the ones in this episode. Thanks to my audio editor, Tori Irvin, for working her audio magic on this episode. Our theme music is Hungarian Dance by Pony Music, used with a special license from Envato Market. Thanks again for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts so we can continue to connect our modern lives with our Hungarian heritage. Until next time, goodbye everyone. Sziasztok mindenkinek!